we're going to try and see if we can sing the original James Bond theme tune. So the words are going to come up on the screen for you.
I was born with this unlucky sneeze. And
what is worse?
I came into the world the wrong way round. Pundits all agreed.
I'm the reason why.
My father fell into the village pound and drowned.
Can I have some onion barges, please? This is surely bullshit.
This is true.
Alright, no need to get offended. What we are discussing here are the cross-cultural influences on the art. More specifically, the Indian influence on the James Bond theme. Arguably, one of the best theme musics ever made in the history of cinema.
Leonardo's not Indian, Dad.
Of course he is, son. Now look at this one.
What, the Last Supper?
12 men sitting around the table for dinner. Where are the women? They're in the kitchen.
So it all started with this bloke, Monty Norman, who wrote a song, Good Sign, Bad Sign, for a musical adaptation of V.S. Naipaul's novel, A House for Mr.Biswas, set in the Indian community in Trinidad. A House for Mr.Biswas was published in 1961 and is considered one of the top 100 novels of all time by both Time magazine and BBC News. V.S. Naipaul's full name was Sir V.S Naipaul, a Trinidadian-born British writer of Indian origin. His grandparents had immigrated to Trinidad in late 1800s. Since the novel was set in the Indian community in Trinidad, Norman had used Indian musical instruments, tabla and sitar, for his composition. This brings us to the second part of the story, which is set in the popular British culture. The Brits have a tradition of going for an Indian curry meal over the weekend. And these Indian restaurants have a typical interior decoration when it comes to drapes and upholsteries. And in the times gone by, the classical Indian music used to set up the mood.
Okay.
This is surely bullshit.
This is true.
And that is what these guys are calling out. A balti is a type of curry served in something what we call a kadai. The name may have come up from the dish in which it is cooked rather than the ingredients or the cooking technique. What I'm trying to say is that this used to be the sound of India in Britain and rest of the Western world around that time. Apparently, Good Sign, Bad Sign did not get anywhere. At least not until Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman acquired the rights for the James Bond novels from Ian Fleming. They wanted to turn the novels into films, and for that they wanted theme music. And that is when they thought of Monty Norman and made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Monty flew all the way to Jamaica and met Ian Fleming at Golden Eye. The idea was that he should absorb the local sounds and hire the local talent for his compositions. Monty was a good songwriter, but he struggled with the dramatic music. And like everybody else, he was hard-pressed by time. Somehow, he associated the character of James Bond with Good Sign, Bad Sign, and thought of replacing the sitar piece with a guitar. But the producers were still not happy with this theme and wanted to make it more dynamic, and that is when they thought of John Barry. And John was given even lesser time than Monty. In fact, a day from what he claims. John met Monty and then he decided to go with his instincts because the time was very less. And what John came up with was definitely dynamic and exciting, and even sexier than Monty's version. And the rest, as we all know, is history. The eternal Bond theme. 25 films, 60 years. Eon Productions always wanted to keep James Bond contemporary and kept making changes according to the times the story was set in for that particular Bond film. Today's generation may not understand the fandom of James Bond films, but this is what it meant to a die-hard fan.
Have you taped over The Spy Who Loved Me with America's Strongest Man?
No, I haven't. It was Terry. I'll give him the tape. He's done it. It's his fault.
I'm really sorry. I really wants to see America's Strongest Man. Well, now you've got Norfolk's Maddest Man. I wants to watch Roger Moore necking with Fiona Fullerton.
Spy Who Loved Me is a brilliant film. It began in forest in Germany.
It's Austria! Austria!
The beam goes up his jaw.
Goldfinger!
The volcano, and it splits up, and a big rocket comes through. There's all chinkies jumping down. Isn't that a thunderbolt?
No, stop getting Bond wrong! I'll tell you about the spy who loved me. All do that with your fingers round your eye. I'm Roger Moore. Bang! Blood dribbles down. We're on a submarine. Two sailors sit down and have a game of chess. And the cups start wobbling, and then a man who used to be in the Needham line comes in and goes, "Why are the cups wobbling? What's going on?" And then you can stop doing that now. And then he pulls down the periscope thing and looks through it and goes, "Oh my God, the submarine's being eaten by a giant tanker." And then we cut to Moscow, and there's a man there, and he's Russian, he's got eyebrows, you know. And he's on the phone going, "What, a whole submarine? You're joking. I'm going to have to tell some other Russians. See ya." And then it cuts to James, Roger Moore, and yes, he's with a lady. yeah. He's necking with her. Right, and he goes, "I've got to go, love. Something's come up."
He means his...
Yeah. Anyway, then he puts on his underpants and his ski suit, and he gets on his skis and he starts skiing, and he's being chased by these Russian shits in black jumpsuits with lemon piping. And he's just skiing along like that, and they start shooting at him, and he goes, "Right, I've had enough of that, just stop it!" And he turns around with this gun, and then he does a backward somersault off this ramp, and he lands on his feet. I'm not sure why, but he's not showing off. And then he goes over a cliff, and he's falling, and you think, "Oh, God, James Bond's going to die, he's going to die!" But then, at the last minute...
He pulls a ripcord, right, and a parachute comes out, and it's got a Union Jack on it.
Michael!
That's how it ends.
That's not the end of the beginning. The end of the beginning goes like this. Glang, glang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang. Glang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang. Nobody does it better. And I'm a naked woman in silhouette with a gun, spinning round. Makes me feel sad for the rest. Nobody does it. Oh, quite as good as you. Baby, you're the best. And now a really big bounce right over, and I land on my feet. I wasn't looking. Somehow you found me. I tried to hide from your love life. And a woman swinging on a luger, a giant luger. Ooh, look at that. Like heaven above me. And now another naked woman walking along the top of a gun, completely Billy Bollocks. The spy who loved me is keeping all my secrets safe tonight. And then one more big swing from a woman. Legs go right apart. Oh, what was that? Too late. Nobody does it half as good as you. Baby, you're the best.
Yes, brilliant.
Yeah, so, do you want to hear some more?
Welcome to America's Strongest Man.
As of now, James Bond has died in last year's No Time to Die. A lot has changed since 1962. No one knows the future of the James Bond franchise, but the fans are always optimistic. The character James Bond has died, but the code number 007 remains. What I mean, the MI6 may retire the code number 007 or assign it to some other agent with a different name. You never know. Time is right to have a black 007 or maybe a lady 007 and an Indian villain.
Sir, it's the infamous terrorist Rajesh. Let's switch on the big screen. Pew! And there he'd be. Is it on?